WWE Backstage. I'm your host, Renee Young. Now, if you've been watching FS1 the past 2 hours, I Rose, and this is still her house, let it be known. It's Paige.
Yes, thank you. So I'm taking a booker spot for today.
Yeah,
I
great.
get to be co-host.
Hell yeah. That means you get a lot of the airtime. That's what he does.
I do. Should I plug his beard product real quick?
Yes.
To make it feel like her? Yeah, okay.
Now, she was one of the last two in the 20-woman battle royal that you guys just watched from the Evolution pay-per-view. It's the She-Nom Ember Moon.
Hi, everybody. I'm green with envy or green with malice. I don't know. Only time will tell.
And I'm so happy to see her face. She is the youngest WWE Hall of Famer in history. You guys can catch her on the NXT commentary team, crushing it. She is the Glamazon Beth Phoenix. What up, Beth?
Hey, so Blanche Rose, I'm guessing that makes me Sophia. So
oh, you know what? I mean, yes, we have to do a Golden Girls reference when you're on.
Yes, I'm cursed. That's all me all day.
So Evolution was a big moment in WWE history. In just a couple of minutes, Nikki Bella will talk about the main event you guys just watched against Ronda Rousey and why this was such a pivotal moment in her career. Plus, later on, so we're going to have Sonya Deville dialing into the show. We're going to talk about her rise from Tough Enough to everything that's going on with her and Mandy Rose over on SmackDown and much more. Now, October 2018's Evolution marked a turning point in WWE history. Gone were the days of the women getting just a few minutes on the biggest stages. Now, we've seen so much progress ever since then. So, Ember, for you, looking back at everything we just saw from Evolution, what are the moments that stand out to you?
Wow, man, it feels like a lifetime ago because things move just so fast. But the one thing that I can really take back, like going back and just remembering it, is how together we were as a locker room, as a unit, as women. Like I felt like that day, like we could have took over the world and no one would have questioned it. It's the most positive experience that I've had being in a locker room. And that's not to say I haven't had any. It's just to say that, man, like that togetherness, like just coming up with everything in that battle royal, it was absolutely amazing. And it's one of the highlights of my career, definitely.
Especially just having all those generations coming together too. And it just like everyone meshed so well right off the bat. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. It was great. It was just like a long day, but I just remember like from that morning at 7 a.m. to the red carpet to the big photo that we took. It was just so chaotic, crazy and amazing. And I remember like we were all in Gorilla and they were like, you guys have to get out of here. And like, we were like, no, we want to support the home team, baby.
You just remember backstage, it just felt so good. Like the energy was just so positive and so happy and it smelled so wonderful. It was just like a really good atmosphere to be a part of. And me, Renee, and Beth got to do the panel together, which is we spoke into existence because look at us now on WWE Backstage.
Here we are.
With the wonderful Emma too. So it was just, all the girls absolutely killed it. I was so proud of every single one of them.
Beth, what do you remember from that day? Because, we did the panel together and then we did commentary. So we were kind of doing the juggling acts out there.
Yeah, I remember too. It was one of my maiden voyages, in the commentary seat. And just having to like throw out the notes and sit there and just really enjoy the moment because it was such a win for me and all the other women that were a part of it. Like you can see behind me here, I have our amazing plaque.
Yes. That picture took about 45 minutes to get us all together.
Dude. All these women.
No, I was taking a look at it, and what I remember from that day is they had to keep backing up to get all of us in frame. I mean, I remember days working independents and all over the place where you'd be lucky if there was one or two women out there. And I'm like, look how many females have come together in one spot for the love and the passion of this business. And also to honor those, the coolest part was we got to honor some of those women that couldn't be there, that have passed, China and, Mae Young and so many other women that were a part of our history. So it was just this great, great melting pot moment of all generations. And it was super fun.
Yeah, and huge moments were made, so we got Nikki Bella. We got to talk about this feature here. So the Bella Twins made their debut at WWE during a time when the women weren't given as much as a platform as they are today, but Evolution marked a huge turning point in Nikki's career as she faced the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, in the main event with Brie by her side.
I got a call from Vince McMahon one day. He's going to have the first ever all-women's pay-per-view and call it Evolution. And then he goes on to tell me that he really wants me to have a match against Ronda Rousey for the main event. I was so emotional in a great way, and this is the one thing in my career that just is the icing on the cake that puts a perfect finish to everything that I've wanted to do in this industry.
For Nikki Bella, it's her first title opportunity since 2015. Ronda Rousey is undefeated.
I literally told myself, like, you are the most amazing fighter ever. You are so strong. I had to put myself in a mindset that I was Goliath and she was David, that I was going to go in there and she needed to fear me.
Nikki, again with the push-ups and a big old smile on her face.
Huge springboard kick to the face.
There were those moments where I still remembered that I was in the ring with a UFC champion.
No way! This is unbelievable.
That was absolutely amazing. Ronda Rousey now unloading with the right hands. Nikki trying to cover up. This is vintage Rousey.
Nikki Bella's getting ragdolled all over the center of the ring.
Right before we hit the finish, just taking one of her arm bars off the top turnbuckle to go into her arm bar.
What does Ronda Rousey do? Quickly to the second rope. Oh my God. Nowhere for Nikki to go. She taps out. Ronda Rousey retains the title.
It was very emotional for all of us, just because it was such a long fight for women and we had accomplished something so amazing, and every match that night was so magical. I mean, look, I get chills when I still talk about it.
This is a night we can all be so proud of. What a beautiful show of respect.
What a night it's been. An historic night.
The crowd hung on to every little thing that we gave them. And when you can make magic like that happen in the ring, where people are hooked by this movement or by a stare down or the story that you give them, that's when you paint Picasso. That's our canvas that is blank before we go out and we paint a beautiful painting, and we painted Picasso that night.
Man, what an incredible moment. So now we're entering another era of the women's division in WWE. 2/3 of last year's historic WrestleMania main event, Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, both out of the ring at the moment. Beth, who do you see coming in to grab that brass ring, so to speak?
Yeah, so, in wrestling, things change quickly and spots open up like abruptly. Like Becky Lynch, the woman whose face was on absolutely everything for a good long while, is gone, and that leaves a crater in the women's division. And I'll tell you, I'm a little butthurt about this because Raw stole her away from NXT. But Bianca Belair, to me, is the woman that I see her as a future superstar and the future face of the division. She is just, she's got the physical capabilities. She has poise. She's so respected. And I don't even think we've scratched the surface of what she's capable of in the ring. So I definitely would pick Bianca.
I cannot wait to see what she does. She's one of those women. I mean, honestly, just pass her in the hallways. I'm like, oh, you're like going to be a huge star in this company.
Yeah. And you know what's really wonderful about her is just it goes beyond the ring too. Obviously she's good on the mic, she's good in the ring, but she's creative. Like she makes all her wrestling gear, she makes her husband's wrestling gear. And then, with the whole Black Lives Movement, she created a website just so people can really learn about it and teach themselves about it, and donate and do all these wonderful things. I just think that she's just a wonderful human being and she has so much passion for this business. And I agree. I feel like she's just going to be this massive star and she's going to take over. And then I'm really happy for Becky. Congratulations. She had
baby mama.
Yeah, the mom. And then with Ronda, I feel like I was really thankful for her coming in because obviously she brought all these new eyes to watch the product, and that's really wonderful. But we have so many people that could just fill that void so quickly. And I love that. We have wonderful faces like Charlotte, Bailey, Natty, Alexa Bliss, and then all these massive stars in NXT. So I just feel like this is the opportunity of a lifetime for so many of the women right now.
Amber, who do you see stepping in there?
Honestly, I love me Bianca Belair. She is a sister to me. And honestly, you haven't even seen a minuscule of what she can actually do. I will tell you guys that, but no spoilers. But like, don't forget about the Liv Morgans, Carmella, Naomi. I'm trying to think, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose. There are so many women. And for the first time, we might actually see a fight for that brass ring. We already saw it this past week on SmackDown with Lacey Evans and Sonya Deville. They went out there and had an amazing match. But I really do think that this is an opportunity for those girls to step up their game, like I know that they will, and go ahead and take advantage of the man, the mom, and also Ronda Rousey not being in WWE currently.
Well, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, but I think you're right. I think that the depth is just so insane. You look at Raw and SmackDown, you look at the depth on NXT, and I mean, the future is looking good for the women's division, no doubt. All right, guys, stick with us because we are just getting started here on Backstage. We are just 5 sleeps away from Backlash. Randy Orton and Edge are getting ready for the greatest wrestling match ever. Beth Phoenix might give us a little bit of insight on how her husband, Edge, is preparing when Backstage returns. Welcome back, everybody. So it has been a whirlwind week in the world of WWE, from our dude, Christian, bringing back the Peep Show to new champs being crowned and a bunch more in between. Here's what went down.
Nelson by Bobby Lashley. Oh, Claymore by McIntyre. Lashley, how the hell is he still standing? Asuka immediately going after Jax. Oh my God! A huge boot. Samoan drop to the Raw Women's Champion.
We think you can have the greatest wrestling match ever.
This Sunday at Backlash, the redemption of Edge is over. No, it's not.
They saw the person get out of my car. The person had red hair and red beard. Don't worry about the embarrassment your wife and daughters would feel. They're used to it.
And now a probe by Sheamus.
By the time we get to Backlash, Braun Strowman's life will be a living hell.
Is Sasha and Bayley going to win the tag team titles? And now it's crossed his shoulders down. Oh my God! Got her. Banks and Bayley wins. New champions.
Look, yesterday was National Best Friends Day, so it's only fitting that we talk about the new women's tag team champions in Bayley and Sasha Banks. Ember, what do you think about these two women walking out with the titles Friday on SmackDown?
Yeah, well, let me go ahead and take off my glasses.
It's about to get real up in here.
Because I'm about to say some very unpopular comments.
Okay.
So first off, I don't think that this was the right decision to make. And this is why. Bayley and Sasha Banks, they sell themselves. And the storyline that they've been doing with this rift between them, I think sells itself. All right. Whatever pay-per-view that will be on, it sells itself. I don't think that they needed the tag titles, because what it does, it doesn't elevate their story. Their story is going to go wherever it's going to. It devalues the tag team championship match, which was supposed to be the Iconics, who are returning from a hiatus, and also Bliss Cross Applesauce. I think that it took more away from that feud that was going on, and it doesn't really help anyone. Like maybe if the Iconics won the tag team titles, then it went to Bayley and Sasha. Now I would be more interested in this 3-way, because it's anyone's game. I think that it just really didn't elevate their story, but it did take away from the Iconics versus Bliss Cross.
Paige, what do you think?
Oh, man. Here comes Twitter ready to attack me.
Oh, y'all
okay,
come
here we
get
go.
me.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go. No, I just feel like the tag team championship haven't been utilized to their full potential, considering like everyone that's had them. Like, you know, I was with the Kabuki Warriors at a point before, you know, Asuka sprayed green mist in my face. That's
Rude.
Rude. But I feel like they're not being defended right. I don't think they're being used right. They're kind of just being thrown kind of under the rug. Like they're not being taken very seriously. And I just feel like at some point they have to be taken seriously, because this was such a big moment for the women's division to have these tag team titles instead of just having one championship. Now we have a tag division, and we could utilize so many of the tag teams that we have, even down in NXT, up on Raw and SmackDown, just something. It's just Bayley and Sasha, they're good. They're sold. We all love them, but let's try and build some other people, you know?
Yeah.
Beth, what's your reaction to it?
Yeah, I echo a lot of those sentiments. I'm also a big fan of tag team wrestling. Mm-hmm. And it's something because now we're just kind of getting to the point where we have enough women where it's not just singles competitors. Now we have such a deep roster that we can have real tag teams where you feature tag team wrestling, which has a psychology and is very different than singles wrestling. And I just think it is a disservice to you have a lot of talented females, that may not be booked on the show because all the championships are piled in one place on a singles angle that, eventually would probably be featured on the show anyway. So I know that when we didn't see the women's tag titles featured a lot, I was like, bring them to NXT. We have so many girls there.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm. And that's a way to feature, 4 girls in one match, So I hope that changes, and I hope that we get some steam behind the tag titles, which I thought at the moment, Bliss and Cross, and with bringing in the Iconics, I was starting to feel that happen. So I hope it continues.
Maybe you and Natty, Beth.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Interesting.
Looking at you.
Get in there. We need
eyes on you.
Not only that, we have tons of women. Sorry. I said,
There's so much depth, and it would be nice to see some other women kind of step in there, maybe have some new tag teams form. And that's the thing. Once we heard about the tag teams even becoming a thing, coming to fruition in WWE, and it was a huge buzz. Yes. It was a big deal. So time to make them count. Yes. So the women's tag team champions, they can move between both brands. So could be getting a double dose of the role model and the boss. So more of that to come for everybody that loves those guys. So last night, things got very real between our own Christian and his best friend Edge on the return of the Peep Show.
We think you're as good now as you've ever been. We think you can win. We think you can have the greatest wrestling match ever.
So during an extremely emotional talk between Edge and Christian, the Viper interrupted and invoked Beth and her kids' names yet again. So I'm going to Ember on this one here first. Beth, you get to close this one out because you got time to collect your thoughts about everything that's happened here. Ember, what do you think about everything heading into the greatest wrestling match ever at Backlash?
I feel real bad because Beth is here, and I'm like, oh,
earmuffs.
I'll say this: I love when wrestling storylines cross over into real life. I will say that first and foremost. We waited 9 years for Edge to return, and it was great. I do feel like we might be going a little backward with the order of the matches. I would have loved to see Edge in that pure wrestling match starting off. But that's not to discredit the job that they did at WrestleMania, because it was awesome and I still loved it. But I'm going with Edge 1,000%, and I'm an Edge head to the core. I was doing the 5-second pose before everyone thought it was cool. I have gear inspired by Edge, but Edge all the way. There's nothing these guys can do wrong. And I love me some Randy Orton too, but Edge.
Did you get that, Beth? Did you hear that? She's a big Edge fan. We got that in. Paige, what do you think about the greatest wrestling match ever? All the build up to it.
First of all, I miss the Backstage Buddha. Christian,
I know.
I miss you, dude. Haven't been on a Backstage in a while. But yes, so I've always been very vocal about how much of a fan I am of Edge, just because I relate to him so much and I'm inspired by him. Just, he had, 9 years out, Beth?
9.
With a career-ending injury. And it's just inspiring for me, who has the same injury, that he came back and he's doing this and he's absolutely killing it. And I'm such a huge fan of Randy, where it be his camera work, his in-ring psychology. And right now they have so much pressure because they didn't label it the best match ever. It was labeled. So they have so much to oh man, they just have so much they have to think about and do, and they have to make it as perfect as possible. They just have so much pressure, I feel like. But again, I'm also Team Edge.
I mean, Randy's been very vocal online as well, how he feels about all of that. But all right, Beth, the floor is yours. Talk to me about this. Talk to me about what happened on the Peep Show last night, how Edge has been preparing for this matchup. What's going on?
First of all, I know you guys miss Christian, so I wanted to share with you the birthday gift he gave me. Okay. That's the kind of friend he is.
Did he frame it?
He framed it. On the back it says, "To my biggest fan, Beth." But it
sounds about right.
Yeah, you know, last night, I mean, Christian had me in tears. Everything that he said, you know, it's what a friend that really loves you would say. You know what I mean? Like, man, you need to have the best brought out of you in this moment, because this is the biggest pressure match of your life. Like you guys said, like the hate's already rolling in. Like everybody,
oh my goodness.
You know, it's just everybody's going to have an opinion, right? But what I can say is that I know, and even though, like I said, no love lost toward Randy Orton, but he's one of the best that's ever laced him up. And I could go on and on about how proud I am of Adam for taking this on with all his heart. He's been doing research and studying the best wrestlers that ever lived, and also just going back and watching matches that inspired him as a little kid to want to do this. Because you can't go out there and take the pain and do this at, 46 years old after coming back miraculously after 9 years, if you don't love it in your soul. So like, I don't know what's going to happen on Sunday, but I know that what you're going to get is you're going to get Edge's heart, soul, everything, all the best of Edge, all the best of Randy Orton. And I think no matter what, you got to walk away respecting that.
100%. Absolutely. All right, guys, keep your TVs tuned right here, because we've got Sonya Deville still to come. We're going to talk about her feud with her former best bud, Mandy Rose, and much more. Also, why was WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus trending worldwide? We'll tell you guys when we come back. Last week, we asked on Twitter for people to name their top 5 female superstars of all time over at WWE on Fox. So WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus was even trending worldwide, all around the globe. So some other top superstars weighed in as well. The Raw Women's Champion, Asuka, she just went ahead and Asuka top to bottom. I like it. I respect it. Mae Young also got a bit of love from her old pal Bubba Ray Dudley. Oh, Bubba, chiming in. Mae Young, and then everybody else. Gotta get that love in there. So one name that also popped up in that list a bunch, Charlotte Flair. Of course, she has one of the most decorated careers in WWE history. But there is one bucket list opponent that she's still looking to check off, and she happens to be here on our panel tonight.
So I think if I look at the women who are not currently active, I'd have to say I'd want to match with Beth Phoenix one-on-one. She's the one woman that I haven't had an opportunity to face, because she's such a powerhouse.
Beth, come on. You've got your boots there. You're warmed up. You're ready. You're in shape. You can get out there, no problem, and do you guys could do an Iron Woman match. But I know that your thing, so you want to have a steel cage match, right?
Renee, don't book me in an Iron Man match.
I'm booking it's an Iron Man steel cage match.
Oh my gosh.
Truth be told, yeah, a cage match is on my bucket list 100%. But the caveat is not just any cage. I've always wanted to have a match in the old school vintage blue cage.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure anyone that's been in that cage is like looking at me like I'm nuts, because apparently it is like the most unforgiving, destructive force, like other than the Elimination Chamber. But yeah, that would be a dream to have that match. And I'm so flattered that Charlotte would mention me and think of me. I mean,
are you kidding? You guys are amazing. First of all, Charlotte is just, she's incredible. She's a huge, huge star, amazing woman. But to go against you, who's a legend, obviously being, a female that went into the males Royal Rumble, and then to come out and do this, the all females Royal Rumble with all the blood in your hair, looking like a complete badass. I mean, who wouldn't want to have a wrestling match against you? I just feel like it would be incredible. And if you don't do it, then you're selfish, because you're upsetting all your big fans around the world, including myself.
We need this.
Yes.
I mean, that was the only time that you guys have been in the ring together, was during that Royal Rumble. And it was incredible. I mean, being a friend of yours and being a fan of yours before I was able to become a friend of yours, being able to sit and watch that match and see you go out there and just show up It was unbelievable. I was just so happy for you and proud of you. It was great. Ember, how do you see this going down? You want to see a Beth Phoenix Charlotte match in a steel cage?
I mean, Charlotte is absolutely amazing. And like, I can definitely see her doing the moonsault or, Beth Phoenix winning with a glam slam off the top. That would be the best thing. But someone else that wants to face Beth Phoenix, and I've been all over the interwebs for years saying this, is myself, Ember Moon. But like, the reason why is because of this gem right here, and I'm gonna slowly lift it, and if you can see it, that's Beth Phoenix right there.
Shimmer, yes. Shimmer.
When I first started wrestling, like they were like, "Oh, you don't want to wrestle like the girls on TV," which it was a different time. We know what they were doing at the time, and so a friend of mine gave me Shimmer Volume 2 and said, "You need to wrestle like these women." And the very first match I ever saw of real women's wrestling was Beth Phoenix versus Mischief.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of the most mind-blowing experiences that I was like, oh my God, I got to get on her level. I have to be like Beth Phoenix, because she had just, at that time, you had just gotten signed to WWE. And I was like, I have to get on her level. I have to be at Shimmer. I have to wrestle like this. But it made me step up my game to a whole new level. And for that's why I've always wanted that dream match with you, because you made me a better person in the ring because of it. So I finally get to say it to you in person.
Such a nice story.
That's nice.
Ember, oh my goodness, you're making me cry over here.
Oh no,
guys.
You know what? Again, I would be honored to ever step foot in the ring with you. You are such an incredible talent, and my husband as well feels the same way. We just, we can't wait for you to make your in-ring return and see what the future holds. You never know. You never know.
So, are we hearing it here first that Beth Phoenix is making a return, or?
That's what I heard.
I think
that's what I heard too.
I heard it. All right, guys, stay put, because when we return, one of WWE's rising stars joins us. Sonya Deville has some real momentum behind her, and we cannot wait for her backstage debut in just a moment.
Man, you are the most selfish human being I've ever met in my entire life. All I want is to see you hurt.
No!
What? Oh my gosh! That still gives me chills to see time and time again. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us from her home, put your hair up and square up. We got Sonya Deville on the program. Thanks so much for joining.
Yes.
What's going on, guys?
There she is.
I miss you.
Oh my God, Absolution Reunion Part 2.
Mandy's kicked to the curb.
Yeah,
we don't like her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you and Mandy are gonna have to make this up, because you're making Mama cry over here. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so Sonya, first things first, we got to talk about that promo from a few weeks back. I mean, could you feel in that moment when everything was coming together that you were doing something really special?
Yeah, it's weird because that week leading up to it, I was, obviously figuring out what I was going to say and just thinking about the story in total. And there was so much like real emotion and passion leading up to it, because me and Mandy, I mean, we're literally like sisters. We've lived together. We started in Tough Enough together. We were in Absolution together. And then of course, Fire and Desire. So it was a lot to kind of work with. And so once the day finally came, I was like, in my head, before I went through the curtain onto the stage, I was like, this is going to be my moment. This is kind of like a make or break. So I need to freaking kill this. And as soon as I said like my first line, I was like, oh, I feel I'm in my groove. I feel good about this. So yeah, it definitely felt special in the moment.
And what was the reaction from everybody else? I mean, I'm sure that there was people that didn't even know that that's what you were going to bring to the table. I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, we have a new star on our hands. What was that reaction like for you?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, like you said, the internet kind of erupted. It was like a lot of shock because like you said, I had never really gotten mic time prior to this. So no one knew I even had a voice or thoughts or opinions. And it had been something that I had asked for, kind of for a long time leading up to that. And then finally I was like, let me talk on the mic. And I remember like kind of asking Creative that and actually Vince that a couple weeks prior. And I was like, just please give me one shot on the mic. If I screw it up, you can take it away from me forever. Like I was that confident that I had something to say in that time and place.
You know what? I just want to say first and foremost before I ask any questions, like I text you too, but I am so proud of you, and I feel super protective over you and Mandy. First of all, everyone knows that, but I feel so proud just because I was with you from day one in Tough Enough, where I had to be that hard, aggressive talking judge to you, and then also bringing you up onto the road with me as Absolution. And I just want to say, like, Mandy has always been, the one that was in the front that kind of got the limelight with Total Divas and all that kind of stuff. And you never gave up. And now you got to the point where now you're a star. You're an absolute star. And Mandy's a star too. And you guys are just absolutely killing it in what you're doing right now and in your storyline. And I'm super proud. But tell me, like, how has that experience been for you?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I remember doing an interview back when we were with Absolution, and they're like, how is it working with Paige? And the first thing I said was, watching her prepare to do a promo, because you had a promo almost every single night when you were in Absolution.
Sorry, yeah.
Watching you prep and how calm, cool, and collective you were, and just your charisma that just came out no matter what, was so inspiring to me. And I remember watching you and being like, oh, I want to do that too, but like, we all played our roles and it worked in that time, and everything happens for a reason. And, timing is everything, obviously, in this business. But yeah, being now, it feels really justified. It feels really good. And it just feels like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Give me chills. Oh. Yes.
If we didn't go through that journey, if I didn't really deep down inside feel like I was the third wheel, then would I have had the passion and the energy I did in that promo? Probably not. A lot of those feelings are genuine. I have been third wheel for a while. I was second fiddle to Mandy since the moment we got signed. And that's just, and that's like a societal thing too. It's just, she's a gorgeous blonde, and she definitely attracts attention whenever she walks in a room. And I love her, loved her to death. But yeah. It's just what it was, and I played my role, and I was the badass, and I was the serious tough guy, but I knew I was more than one dimensional. And so now everyone else gets to see that too.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the moments that you look back at when you were able to work with Paige? I mean, you must have some good Paige stories.
Yeah.
You spend a bit of time with Paige, you're going to walk away with some good stories to tell.
Of course. I just remember how excited we were for our debut. Like, our debut was so cool. Like, not everyone gets a really cool, Raw or SmackDown debut. We got to, get loaded back and run through the crowd and, beat up Sasha and Mickie James. So it was pretty epic. And I just remember Paige was always, we call her mama for a reason. She was always had good advice. She was always so confident though. Like, that's what transpired onto me the most, was I was freaking out like, the green rookie that I was. And then I would look at her and she was like, okay, you guys ready? You're going to kill this. It's all good. Like, you were just always so calm. And I was like, oh my God, how does she do this?
Remember when I tried to prank you and Mandy at a live event before? And I told you that our match got moved to first segment at a live event. This is non-televised show, guys, for anyone that doesn't know. And I told them that we got moved to first segment and that they had to get into their wrestling gear in the car. And they would text everyone, and I was running around to everyone being like, just pretend their match got moved to first. And they didn't fall for it at all.
We did it first. So at first, we were running like 10 minutes late or whatever, but being new on the roster, that's obviously like frowned upon thing to do. So me and Mandy are flying down the highway in some random town, and Paige texts us and goes, we got moved to first. And we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? How are we going to do our makeup? We're going to have to get dressed in the car. And then she texts us, she's like, you guys have to get changed in the car. And we were like, wait a second. I think she's messing with us.
I actually have another amazing memory with you too, Sonya. And that's like, obviously in Tough Enough. I mean, first of all, guys, it is Pride Month. And we have the face of Pride right here.
Yeah.
So I got to experience on Tough Enough, you coming out for the first time on national TV, and I commend you because you're such a huge role model for doing that. But what was that like for you to do that? Because obviously I'll never be in your shoes, so I wouldn't fully understand how you felt in that moment, but I could feel the energy, and I was just so proud of you for doing that and using WWE as your platform to do that. And so I just want to know how that felt.
It's so crazy thinking back that you were there then. I mean, that's like 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
So it's really like a full circle moment right now. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it was one of those crazy things where it was like, I was hardly out to anybody but my immediate family. And my girlfriend at the time was not out to anybody. So in that moment when I was asked if I was in a relationship, which I've said a million times, it's a normal reality show question. You know, it should be a really basic answer for most people. But for me, it was like this loaded question, because in my head I'm going, oh my God, I'm about to out my girlfriend. But if I say that I'm single, then I'm going to go on this reality show single, and they're going to have me do like love angles. And then my girlfriend's going to be really mad at you. yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? So it was kind of like a flight or fight response. And I was just like, yeah, I have a girlfriend, you know? And obviously what's transpired over the past 5 years, I couldn't have predicted if I tried, but it's allowed me to feel comfortable with me, first and foremost, because when you're kind of forced on the spot to speak your truth starts becoming your reality. And I didn't plan on that happening.
It's
I
inspiring.
thought I was, you know what I mean? Like, I thought I was already okay with who I was. I thought I was, open and free and out, but I wasn't at all. My coworkers at the bar that I worked at didn't even know. Like, I started realizing, like, no, I was ashamed of who I was, and I wasn't okay with who I was at all. And so from then to now, to see that I'm not only okay with who I am, but I'm okay sharing my story and hopefully helping others be okay with who they are. That's what's special to me about it.
Inspiring.
How important is it to you to start seeing more of these same-sex relationships and storylines in WWE?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's in any television show, in any movie nowadays, you see same-sex relationships because that's society. That's part of our culture. I mean, statistically it is. And so I think it should be the same with sports entertainment. And I think we're heading in that direction. I think we're on the right path. Stephanie McMahon has been someone that's been helping me advocate for more LGBTQ inclusion for the past 2.5 years. We've been talking about that. And, Paige was there. We did the Spirit Day Lounge at Comic-Con a few years back. Mm-hmm. We did the New York City Pride Parade with GLAAD. And, now the Pride shirts, actually, I don't have it on. This is my Pride shirt, but WWE launched 2 Pride shirts for me. We still have the one from last year. So inclusion is coming, and it's here with WWE. I think everyone's on board.
And quickly, you talk about your Pride shirts. Don't you have Pride shoes as well?
Oh my God.
Shoes. Yeah.
I want to see these bad boys.
Look at them.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Custom rainbow shoes I got made for Pride Month. Maybe to do a little photo shoot in. Mosh made them for me. He killed it. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So cool.
Yeah.
Well, girl, thanks so much for joining us. It's been awesome to be able to finally have you on here. So, of course, when we're back out in the studio, you have an open invitation to come down, hang out whenever you want. It would be great to have you out there.
Thanks, guys. 2 of my favorite chicks.
Hey, we love you.
Bye.
All right, see you soon. Guys, it's been called by some the deepest division in WWE. Yes, the women of NXT have been doing something special for years. Our panel could tell that firsthand. And we're going to talk about the future of the women's division when Backstage returns. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles will serve as Grand Marshals for the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500, which airs tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on FS1. This just 2 days before they meet in the finals of the Intercontinental Championship Tournament on June 12th on Friday Night SmackDown on Fox.
Josie Judas, Mamma Mia! Rhea Ripley, wait a minute, come on! From the sky, finally, Io Shirai is NXT Women's Champion!
Man, what a moment to see Io Shirai celebrate that win. All the confetti coming down on Sunday. So she's a first-time NXT Women's Champion, but she's not the only rising star at NXT. Beth, of course, you're on the commentary team there. You're mixing up with those girls all the time. Who do you think that the WWE Universe should be keeping their eye on?
We've seen so many women really step up and stand out and like just get their brand like in a new and exciting way. Shotzi Blackheart, but I really love, and I gotta name this person because I've just seen her journey and I see her potential and I want to see more of her, and that's Tegan Knox.
Yes.
Yes.
You and I were that side by side, and we saw, what Tegan went through with her ACL injury and just the road coming back. She's just such a great young talent, and I love to see her shine more. And then a girl that stood out at TakeOver to me was giving me ninth wonder of the world vibes, Raquel Gonzalez. She's got that imposing physique, and I've really seen her get to a point in her career where she understands now how to use her size and her presence to her advantage, and I see big things for her in the future too.
So Ember, Paige, both of you are former NXT Women's Champions. What can this big win in this moment do for Io Shirai's career?
Oh man, first off, NXT is the place where hard work pays off. Like doing that grind at that performance center day in, day out, like they are 8 to 12 hour days. Like, and to know that like you are the face of the women's division and like the face of a company in a matter of fact. Yeah, like it's great. There's so much confidence building that comes with like having that title. And I know when I had the championship personally, like I felt like I had to elevate my game and be a leader. And that's definitely what Io Shirai is going to go through.
Yeah. What about you, Miss Fancy Pants, first NXT Women's Champ?
NXT Women's Champ. Yeah, there was a lot of pressure when I first did it because obviously there wasn't so many eyes on the NXT Women's Division, which I think the NXT Women's Division now is the best it's ever been. Like every single one of them is talented, they're stars, and they have such a big platform now. It's like a brand just like Raw and SmackDown is. But being the first ever NXT Women's Champion and being the first female match that was showcased on the WWE Network was a huge deal. And then to actually win the championship was... It blew my mind, and it frustrates me when people are like, it was put in the script. Like, no, we worked our whole lives. Any wrestler, when they get to WWE, they want that championship. And when you get it, it's real. The passion, the emotion, it's real. And the WWE are trusting you with this championship. Again, like Ember said, to be the face of the division, the face of NXT, the face of Raw and SmackDown. So they're putting a lot of trust in you, and it feels good, but it comes with a lot of pressure. And I hope that she's mentally strong enough to deal with it. I'm sure she is, because she is an absolute star and one of the best wrestlers in the world. All of them. Also, I want to give a good shout out to Candice, because she's like a bubbly baby face, a good guy, but now she's taken like this heel persona, and I think she's doing wonderful work with it. Good job to her.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely looking forward to see what Io's going to do in this moment. And just feeling that reaction at In Your House was unbelievable. So kudos to you, Io. Guys, stick with us. The show is not over. We've got more Backstage coming up in just a minute. Next Tuesday, we're going into the archives and we air Survivor Series 1996. It's the night Rocky Maivia made his WWE debut. That all starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by a new Backstage at 11 here on FS1. Well, guys, that's it for us here tonight. Thanks to Sonya Deville, Beth Phoenix, Ember Moon, and of course, Paige for joining us here tonight. Now, we spoke a little bit last week about everything that's going on in the world around us. And yesterday on the New Day podcast, the conversation continued as they talked about their own experiences. The New Day podcast airs every Monday, and we decided that would be a good idea to end tonight's show with Big E's poignant words.
I don't know how you don't feel empathy for a man like that who's accused of passing a counterfeit $20 bill, man. He didn't deserve to die like that. We cannot be okay with murdering us. You just can't be okay with it, because it's not the first time. And I cannot accept living in a country where this is acceptable, where it takes 2 days to get an arrest for this man.
Figure out the best way to get through that. And for a lot of us, that is making sure that people see us as non-threatening. So the work, the countless hours, we have to be on guard to make sure that if there's someone around who might be nervous around us, we have to make sure that their fears are assuaged, because if they're scared of us, and they leave this interaction and we haven't presented a kind smile and a big hello, they'll pass us by and later still be scared of us. But if we do the work to smile and wave and make them feel better, then maybe they'll feel better later. But it's such an unfair thing to put on anyone.